Understanding the Puzzle continued. Philosophy and Symbiotic Panentheism. What significance does Symbiotic Panentheism have to offer us as a species? We as a species must have faith in what it is we have been doing in the past, are doing in the present, and appear to be headed towards in the future. We cannot stop what we are doing and change directions just because what we are doing may be perceived to be ludicrous to another life form. We cannot give up in despair and declare all of what we see, believe, and reason to be invalid just because it could be perceived differently by another life form with a different interpretation. We cannot second guess ourselves and become mired in conflict, disagreements, self-doubt, and inferiority regarding our ability to interpret what it is that we see, believe, and reason. When we come into contact with what we may believe to be more intelligent life forms that we admire, we must remain strong. We must remain sure of ourselves that what it is our whole history of suffering and pain has directed us towards. We are so naive as a species. We are so young as a species. We are so impressionable as a species. We are almost sure to buckle, fold, compromise our significance, compromise our purpose for existing, when being exposed to perceptions of other life forms, unless we define the purpose and significance before such a contact. This examination is a process of understanding. It is a process of developing a mission statement for our species that represents what it is we as individuals throughout history have been attempting to protect. It is a process of building a model of what it is we represent, believe, and wish to establish globally, galactically, universally. This understanding is nothing less than the establishment of a unified view that is truly universal. We have so much to be proud of as a species. The summation of our behavior has been valiant, filled with hope, compassionate, tenacious, many would say. No, our behavior has been shameful, despicable, inhumane, lustful, greedy, self-serving. There is no denying these perceptions, but there is no denying that for every negative act, people have come forth and worked to overcome these indecencies. Not only have they come forward to do so, they have given their very lives to do so. The glass is not half empty. The glass is half full and rising. What significance does SP, or Symbiotic Panentheism, have to offer other life forms in the universe? We have worked as individuals and as a species to develop the concept of equality. Will we insist equality is a right of all life, or will we insist equality only belongs to our genus or species, to Homo sapiens? Universal truths are universal truths. This is an important concept because it applies directly to this particular situation. Either freedom to travel reality is a basic fundamental of the universe, or it is not. If it is, we have no choice but to accept the concept as belonging to all beings in the universe. If we do not accept the concept of freedom being a universal truth, we open up the prospect of being isolated from the rest of the universe in an attempt to keep this idealistic concept as our own. Idealism is only the correct word if we share the idea with others. If we selfishly keep the idea as our own, the word remains idealistic only within our own ranks, but loses its sense of idealism outside of humanity. And who is to be granted this concept of freedom? Freedom from each other and freedom from the causative force. We exist and are aware of our physical surroundings. We exist, are aware of our physical surroundings, and aware of our abstract surroundings. We not only love, but we are aware we love. This appears to be a level above most other life forms on Earth. We not only are sad, we are aware of what this means. We are capable of understanding the abstraction. A dog may love its master, but it does not appear capable of going to the next level of understanding that it loves. Can other life forms such as dolphins do so? It is difficult to say. We have much to learn, but until we know, we have an obligation under the model of Symbiotic Panentheism to treat them as if they do have this capacity. Under Symbiotic Panentheism, simple existence deserves respect for what it is, existence within the causative force, or what religions have called God. As such, it is a piece of the causative force, and, if for no other reason, deserves respect. But existence, any existence, terrestrial or otherwise, with awareness of the abstract, raises one to the level of being made in the image of the causative force, earning one not only the right to respect, but the right to freedom. What does symbiotic panentheism imply about our significance in eternity? Symbiotic panentheism offers hope when it appears there is no hope. Science may be on the verge of telling us the universe will someday die. We are in the universe. It appears there is no hope. But symbiotic panentheism says there is more to life than the physical. Symbiotic panentheism says there is awareness. Science says awareness is an abstraction. This puts science in the position of having to modify what it says. Now science must say the physical universe will someday die. Science does not know enough about abstraction or awareness or consciousness, awareness of love, awareness of hate, awareness of jealousy, awareness of hope, awareness of despair, to know if awareness can be destroyed or if it exists forever in some form or other. The point is, symbiotic panentheism forces science into modifying its statements of gloom and doom with the qualifier its statements applied to physical existence, hope is maintained. Religion is on the verge of telling us we have no moral right to create life. The implication is that life can be created. If we were mortals, can create life, then life may not be as significant as we had presumed. But Symbiotic Panentheism says the physical body is not what life is. Symbiotic Panentheism says life is a piece, or a part, or an emanation of the causative force, placed by the causative force into a vehicle capable of perceiving its surroundings on various levels of consciousness. To be more specific, SP says life is a piece of the causative force, operating within a temporary physical existence or universe. Amnesiac of itself, existing as an individual in order to travel and experience uninfluenced by her own greatness. This purity of travel allows true free will to operate. The concept of creating life no longer becomes creation of life, but rather creation of a vehicle capable of hosting a piece or an image of God, the causative force. The vehicle is not made in the image of the causative force, but rather is an emanation or part of the causative force, which may be placed by her within a creation of humankind. What an honor, and again, despair turns to hope. And what of philosophy? Philosophy is the only branch of the three purely abstract enough to bring science and religion together within a model, a unified view capable of explaining such concepts. Philosophy is the uniting force, the mediator for physical reality and abstract eternity. What does symbiotic panentheism imply about our relationship to the causative force? Be proud of what we have accomplished. There may be more to do, but we have already accomplished much. We have not completed our growth, and we are still moving forward. We have two choices. We can hang our heads in shame over our past, or we can hold our heads high, proud of our past. But why should we be ashamed? Every attempt upon the part of a few individuals to dominate, abuse, intimidate, and subjugate others within our society has been met with resistance and in the end has been repelled. Our concept of having the right to be free has never left us. Thousands of years ago, it was only a small seed waiting to germinate. Today, it has grown tall, proud, and healthy. It has grown so tall and spread so far, it has gotten to the point where one man, unarmed and standing his ground against a 40-ton roaring steel monster, can bring that monster to a grinding halt. This action at Tiananmen Square in China in 1989 was very symbolic of just how far the rights of the individual have come. The concept of one individual being able to bring a government of 2 billion people to a halt by standing his ground would have been unfathomable in, say, 1500 BC, the point at which this book began. This book being Stepping Up to the Creator. Symbiotic Panentheism is just one more step in the direction of freedom. Symbiotic Panentheism is a model establishing the concept of having our free will. Under such an idea, freedom becomes a concept connected directly to eternity and establishes a new relationship between ourselves and the causative force, or what religions have called God. Now, existence and our actions while existing become a serious responsibility. Under SP, not only do we exist within the causative force, and not only does the causative force affect us, but we actually impact and affect the causative force. Just as importantly, so do others. And with this established, we have no option but to provide the respect due to others, the causative force herself. Symbiotic Panentheism establishes a new interactive relationship between ourselves and a causative force, or God. As such, it elevates the concept of responsibility for yourself, others, and the environment. Behavior is based upon the perceptions we have regarding what we are. SP elevates what we are to the level of the causative force. And with this elevation of perception would come an elevation of behavior. How do the concepts of symbiotic panentheism reinforce the concept of understanding? It does not. What is actually taking place is understanding is reinforcing the concept of symbiotic panentheism. At this point in time, we have an intuitive sense of what symbiotic panentheism is, but we have not verbalized it, formally formulated it, built a model of it, or unilaterally acknowledged it. The process of formulating SP is simply a process of developing a unified view, a universal model of what we stand for. But is SP the model, the correct model? In our present state of existence, we most probably will never know. But that is not the point. In our present state of existence, we most probably will never know anything for sure. We don't even know if we exist. All we can do is make assumptions and create perceptions based upon what we see, science, what we believe, faith, spirituality, religions, and what we are capable of reasoning, or logic, philosophy. Science, religion, and philosophy have been fretting over life and what it is for thousands of years, until they take on the responsibility of helping the rest of us understand what it is we are, why we exist. We are going to continue to remain in a state of confusion and conflict. Abortion will continue to pit one against the other. Racism, genderism, sexism, elitism, all the isms will continue to divide us as individuals and as a species. Our world is a beautiful blue and white sphere floating within a void of black velvet sparkling with specks of the rainbow. And as we watch in awe, the blood of the oppressed and subjugated drips from our home, our planet, into the void of darkness. The blood can be seen to come from two sources: the blood of victims and the blood of the valiant warriors who have willingly sacrificed their own blood to change the future. It is time to build a model, a unified view, founded upon the blood of our past and entrenched in idealism. Are we going to share the results of this bloodletting with others throughout the universe? Or are we going to stop the abuse by sharing our newfound freedom with all life forms throughout the heavens? Will the Magna Carta become simply a human document, or will it become a universal proclamation of freedom? Philosophy. Conclusion. Panantheism says you do not have to worry about eternity. You are a part of eternity. You are already within eternity. You are the abstract. You are a piece of awareness. And the causative force is total awareness. If you have awareness, there is no apparent alternative but to accept the idea that you are a part of total awareness, or total awareness is not total. In other words, if your awareness is not a part of total awareness, then the causative force is not all-knowing, omniscient. This then, by definition, implies that God, the causative force, is not the causative force. If the causative force is not the causative force, we would have to look further out or in to find the attention of our affection. But no matter how far we look, we would have little option but to recognize we are a part of whatever we find, for the source, defined by the definition of omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence, must contain you. For you have awareness, and your awareness must be part of the whole. The whole is equal, or even greater, to the sum of its parts. The whole cannot be the whole without the small piece you represent being included. For without your inclusion, the whole is not the whole. This is Panantheism, in short. And what of your significance to the whole? Who would question the idea that while you travel through life, you grow? Who would question that the experience of life is a means of expanding your knowledge, your awareness? And if you are a part of the whole, then your growth is a part of God, the causative force. If such is the case, how could your growth in life not cause the causative force to, in some way, grow? This is definitely also, as an added comment, aligned with process philosophy. Thus, it is you appear to affect the causative force directly. You appear to be the means by which the causative force grows and learns. You appear to impact the causative force. You appear to have the free will to impact the causative force in either a positive or negative manner. And I would add that perhaps unbelief impacts God in a negative manner. And so it causes a chain of events, perhaps. It is your choice. It is your responsibility. You are in a symbiotic relationship with the causative force, or God. Whether we acknowledge this or not, it is the case, especially for those who believe. What is so significant about any unified view philosophy creates? Any model of a universal philosophy builds a perspective regarding what we are, what the universe is, what God is, or what a causative force is, and how the three interact. Symbiotic Panentheism is a philosophical model of a unified view. As a universal philosophy model, it builds a perspective capable of providing answers to these questions. It is not the model that is important, it is the answers to our fundamental questions that are important. As such, the model is only as good as the answers it provides. Let's take only one of thousands of questions a unified view should be able to address. How does one get to heaven? Eastern religions say they are the keepers of the keys. The East says they know how to provide you with the keys. They say you must obtain them yourself with their guidance. You are the only one that can get them. It is a long and arduous task. They will show you how to get the keys. Eastern religions say it is their job to teach you. They have the knowledge. Follow their teachings, and after years of many reincarnations, you will get there. Eastern religions say they hold the power. The power is knowledge. Western religions, on the other hand, say they know how to provide you with the keys. They say you may obtain the keys from them. Western religions say that if you say the magic words, you will be given the keys. If you believe, you will obtain the keys. If you prove you believe through the ultimate test, giving of what you have, money, time, power, to the cause, you will get there. Western religions say they hold the power. The power is knowledge. Symbiotic Panentheism said that no one holds the keys but you. Religions may be able to guide you, but they cannot keep you out of eternity, out of the arms of the causative force. Because the causative force is omnipresent. As such, you are already in the arms of the causative force. There is nowhere else to be. There you have it. Panentheism. You are already inside the causative force. Symbiosis. You have a direct impact, and there is an interdependence between you and the causative force. Mediation is needed. The best place to mediate is nature. It is the purest form of the creation of the causative force. It has much to teach us. Nature is the home of the causative force, and it is your home. Your body is a vessel carrying a piece of the causative force. You. Or you could say, your body is a vessel for spirit. Eastern religions can teach us how to connect inwardly to the causative force, how to accept ourselves and our plight through being in touch with ourselves, and how to bring ourselves as close as possible to the whole of the causative force through internal meditation and prayer. Western religions can teach us how to connect outwardly to the causative force through outward meditation, sending your spirit out of your body and accepting the world outside yourself. Eastern and Western religions are doing the same thing, only in different manners. Each is attempting to help the individual touch the causative force, come into contact with the causative force. The East looks inward, the West tends to look outward. I would add that the Western mystical traditions are also looking inward, more so than Western religions. East is east, and west is west, and never the twain shall meet, so they say. Now becomes east is east, and west is west, and both end up together. Go to the temples. They are a place of concentrated thought. The thoughts of others will help whisk your thoughts toward the causative force. Go to your mosques. They are a place capable of setting a mood that will inspire you and give your sense of connection a jump start as you begin your meditations. Go to your synagogues. They are a place capable of sparking your sense of commonality. You are all brothers and sisters through the soul. Go to your Hindu temples, Buddhist temples. They are all places for your essence to come into contact with a greater form of abstraction. Go out and meditate in nature. It is a place of cleansing and communion. Just as the temples must be built by us, maintained by us, preserved by us for the present and future generations, so too must nature be protected, maintained, and preserved by us for the present and future generations. Nature is the temple we all have in common. We, Homo sapiens, built the mosques, churches, and synagogues. Nature is the temple built by the causative force. Nature is the common temple shared by all of us. Antiquity, culture, history, the sense of past souls having walked the interior of the temples can only come through time and the entrance of millions of souls. We must maintain the temples of our past. They must be preserved for the future generations, for they are the temples built by us. Nothing can replace the unique contributions they have to offer in terms of a place for meditation. The old buildings of worship all over the world must not be forgotten. The ones standing alone in the prairies, alone in the deserts, alone in the mountains, alone in the inner cities, must be preserved and respected for what they are, places for the soul to rest. They are important. They are the source of hope. They stand as lighthouses in the midst of the fog. They must be prepared for the entrance of the lone traveler, whoever they are. They must be repaired, maintained, and made to represent our belief in an ideal. The Hindu must repair the Christian temple. The Christian must repair the Buddhist temple. The Muslim must repair the Jewish temple. They must become sacred places for all of us, for they represent our sense of oneness with each other. They are a symbol. The priest must be there for the Hindu, and the rabbi must be there for the atheist, not as a source of conversion, but as a source of refuge. We must open the doors of religions for the Hindu, the Buddhist, the Christian, etc. This is the time for a new enlightenment. This is the beginning of the third millennium, the 21st century. This is a unique time when we may very well be able to fuse our religions or religious faiths with our scientific observations, using the logic of philosophy as the means of putting the puzzle together before we disperse throughout the heavens. This may be the time we finally come to terms with ourselves as a unique species. Maybe we will finally be able to feel proud of who we are, proud of our past, proud of our present, and proud of our future, of the future we have to offer ourselves and others.